We can go in. We can go in.
Okay, look, I'm gonna look for a taunt. I'm looking for a taunt. Okay, look at Maple. Look at Maple.
They're all locked. They're locked up.
Okay, I'm on Maple. I'm on Maple. Look at Maple Street. Look
Kill
at
this
Maple
guy.
Street.
Kill this guy. Maple. Maple.
Hey, Maple. Hey, I'm on Lee Sin.
He's dead. He's dead.
You got him? Nice. Good job.
Welcome back to week number 4 of the North American LCS Summer Split. And before we get into our last match of the day, Dignitas versus Vulcan, I'd like to welcome CLG's Nien to the desk. You guys,
What's up?
You guys did a pretty good job there in that game. I got to say, we just heard you guys in the team fight there. You guys seem pretty calm in fights overall.
Yeah, it's good being calm. If you're too hectic, no one knows what's going on, so it's better to just say who to go on, and everyone can be on the same page.
Who tends to make the target call?
Anyone on the team. When they see a good opportunity, why not just call it out?
Cool.
So you had an interesting first item build in this game. It really caught me by surprise because I haven't seen it in a long time. The Wits End, I was really surprised, but then I liked it a lot early game until Chris started turning around on you.
Yeah.
What happened with the 1v1 with Chris?
I probably should have just turned around and fought him, but I just tried. I thought I could get away, but then he flash queued me really fast. It didn't really expect that, and he just killed me. I think I would have won the fight if I just started to fight him at the start, but I ran away like a coward, and I got punished for it.
So what really went into the ideas behind this Wits End buy that you did?
The new Wits In that steals MR is really good on Shen, especially because it gives you defensive stats and a lot of offensive capability. When you steal 25 MR from them and your passive does magic damage, your taunt does magic damage, and your Q does magic damage, it does a lot of damage to them, and especially when you get Sunfire as well. AD carry generally has 42 MR, so if you take 25 of that, when you have the Sunfire and all those other spells and you're like really tanky too, you can just kill an AD carry really, really fast.
So were you worried about Chris much at all? Because you built Warmogs against Elise, which doesn't help a hell of a lot. You got Sunfire, which is health and armor against Elise, which doesn't help a heck of a lot. Were you just like, Wits End's enough, screw it?
Yeah, pretty much. I think if I went Sunfire instead of Warmogs, I would have been much better off on him. I could have killed him a lot easier. He didn't really have that much MR, so I could have just fought him straight up, like I said, and it would have gone a lot better.
So you think you can just basically tank through an Elise who goes AP by just being Shen?
Yeah, Shen with his innate defensive capability and then just a Wits In is really, really strong. Can't really do much against it.
Cool. So it seems like you've matured really, really well as a top laner so far in just a few weeks here. Your champion pool seems huge. You've brought out Shen now. Like, I don't want to ask if there's anything you can't play because then you just tell a bunch of people what not to be afraid of for you. But how have you picked up this role so quickly?
Well, it's really easy picking up a role on CLG because you have really knowledgeable players and they can tell you why you suck, and you can just improve on why you suck. And I can just ask any of them for advice and stuff like that. Just constant scrimming every day helps out a lot. And I don't know. When I transitioned to mid lane from AD, picking up top lane after that is way easier for me because I already played a solo lane. So it's not really that hard. I just have to learn all the matchups.
Yeah, one more follow-up question then, as far as talking with your teammates is concerned. Do you guys work with Hotshot much still, or is he not very involved in your practice schedule?
He's not very involved. I think he's pretty busy with the challenger team that he's looking to pick up, trying to scout out new talent and take on the amateur scene, maybe a new Cloud9 from CLG, so we'll see.
Cool.
So is it mostly Big Fat LP doing a lot of research for level 1s and stuff I heard for your team, or is it everybody?
Everybody does a little bit, but I'd say GG does the most for sure. He always watches the level 1s before the games, and we just talk about what they usually do and how we can counter that, what's the best way to counter that without counterplay from their end. So we just try to analyze their level 1s as much as possible, and GG most of the time does that.
So what happened this game? Like, you had them predicted. You knew they were coming in through this bush, and you had a ward there. But Xerath wasn't quite with you guys, and you had 4 people, so you had to back off. Was it a little miscommunication, or...?
Well, if you sit 5-man in a bush, you're banking on them checking, and if you have someone else go ward when you're sitting as 4, it's more safe because you don't want them to invade one of your sides for free, so we just wanted to get the ward off. Hopefully they don't invade fast enough for until Lynx gets there, but they did, so we couldn't really capitalize on them face checking, but yeah, it's just more safe to 4-man instead of 5-man.
All right, Nien, thank you very, very much. Of course, congratulations on your win. You guys did an excellent job, and you pulled it through in the late game. And I guess you're 1 game away now from being back into the 2nd place tie that you were at the end of last week. So again, congratulations. Thank you for joining us. Of course, we've got more games today, guys. Sit tight because it's going to be awesome. It's time for our 4th of July finale, Team Dignitas versus Vulcan. Now, earlier today, Vulcan proved once again that they are one of North America's elite teams by dominating Curse for the 3rd time this summer.
Yeah, not only does Vulcan have one of the best records in the league, but they're considered to be one of the best when it comes to Champion Select. They also showed that they have great game knowledge with moves like their Baron sneak attack that got them a free Baron and 2 kills. And besides the brains, they have the brawn, especially mid lane where ManCloud continues to have a great summer. He punished Curse with his Orianna today.
And while Vulcan came away with the win in their first game today, Dignitas held their own against Cloud9's high-pressure system before losing a couple of costly team fights.
Yeah, so Scarra started off hot on Zed again today. He got first blood and Dignitas' first 2 kills, but Cloud9 were able to counter his split pushing, and they held Dignitas' captain without a kill for the rest of the entire game.
And, of course, last week at MLG, Smithy's Dragon Strikes kept Scarra in check as well and helped Vulcan melt Dignitas in their first meeting of the split.
Yeah, Vulcan were able to shut down Scarra's mid-Yi by camping him in lane with the potent early game combo of Lissandra plus Jarvan IV. They punished him every time that he went for an Alpha Strike to get those minions. Plus, becoming a trend this summer is Mandatory Cloud and Psycho Sid having big games. Those two have become one of the league's best solo lane combos, and they dominated Dignitas last week, going a combined 14, 2, and 24.
So the players are jumping into the lobby, and let's take a look at the starting lineups. In the blue corner, it's going to be Dignitas. In the top lane, Kiwi Kid. Crumbs in the jungle, Scarra in mid, I'm a Cutie Pie on AD carry, and Patoy on support.
And in the red corner, it's Vulcan. Psycho Sid is up top. Smithy's in the jungle, Mandatory Cloud on mid, Zuna's on AD carry, and Bloodwater's supporting.
And now before we get into the match ourselves, let's see who you guys think is going to come out on top. According to LOLesports.com, 59% of you think that Dignitas will win our finale.
That's pretty close, actually. We've seen the top teams, the older teams, you know, getting really big fan votes before these happen, but Vulcan, people are realizing that Vulcan is a very, very strong team, and they're not taking them lightly.
It's something we've really talked about, how they sort of quietly became the #2 team, that they kind of just try to get the job done, but they're not particularly flashy. I mean, they have amazing individual performances, but I think people would, like, sort of, if you just like asked, you know, who's going to be #2 in this split so far, very few people would have thought that Vulcan was a top 3, even despite their spring split finish.
True, very, very true. Meanwhile, we have had Dignitas with a resurgence lately, so they've definitely got people back in their corner and rooting for them, especially all those Scarra fans out there.
And they really proved a lot, you know, with the amazing performances, right? His Master Yi, his Zed throughout the last week, and this one as well. I mean, Cloud9, right? They've only lost twice. They're doing it very, very amazingly. And Dignitas had a really, really good run against them. And it's weird to say, like, you know, good job, you almost won. But it's sort of a reality here where there seems to be a big fight for 2 through 8, and #1 is pretty far away. And so using sort of Cloud9 as a measuring stick sometimes and saying, like, yeah, we nearly took him down, man, our early game pressure was there. That's kind of a good way to sort of grade yourselves and say, yeah, these guys still have what it takes.
Yeah, and a key part of that is the adapted flexibility that they've had by switching Kiwi Kid back into mid lane on the champions that Scarra's weak with. So they've kind of shorn up that weakness where, you know, Scarra's limited champion pool mid was holding them back from some mid picks, and they've just basically overcome that by switching Kiwi Kid down there.
It's a really, really good adaptation, and something we've seen sort of happen more and more through these teams overall is instead of having these dedicated top and mid laners, they've got dedicated solo laners. They've got guys who can play the champions and just say, you know, we'll put you guys where you need to be, but we want these 2 champs in our pool. We want these 2 champs in our team composition. Okay, well, you'll take this one, you'll take that one. We'll sort out the rest later.
And what about that rotated keyboard from Kiwi Kid? That, to me, that shouts like back in the Counter-Strike days. That's how it happens. What do you think?
It's good and adaptive. I mean, for me, being left-handed as well, it just kind of happens just the same. Like, for whatever reason, just my hands keep pushing it forward. Like, I've tried straightening a keyboard, and then by the end of the day, I'm like, it's tilted again. And then at some point, you're like, you know what, screw it, this is what happens. It apparently gets pushed out. That's natural for me.
Yeah, he definitely does have background in multiple games, so he's a long-standing computer game veteran.
Yes, exactly. Computer game veteran. Well played. It's a good thing to be, have a lot of experience. And every once in a while, you can pull tactics from something else you've done way back in the day. I mean, look at guys like Claky D and his brother Nick Wu, who were celebrated for having incredibly fast reflexes and mechanical skill from playing fighting games where you've got to put in incredibly complex button combinations and parry things with quarter-second timings and having to predict your opponent, and you live and breathe this like high-intensity environment for years in your life, and it shows in your gameplay.
It really does. Having quick fingers goes a long way, and that's why some of the older players, I guess St. Vicious is most known for this, but he complains about not having quite the reaction speed of the younger guys.
And it's funny to see, it's weird to see that some of the veterans still make this happen though, right? You've got guys like Big Fat LP who just like grab everything like under the sun. Their smites are so incredibly good, despite being in the scene since beta in a lot of the cases. And these are two teams that really, I think, have that sort of that player pool, where Vulcan is a bit of a newer team. Their players have been around a very, very long time, and both these teams are really no strangers to competition. And so, I mean, we're physically older than they are in sort of real people years, but they've been playing as long as we have in general. That was a weird point.
In terms of summoner years,
summoner years, we're equals.
Smithy there, feeling the years. He is looks like a grumpy old man now.
Grumpy old mandatory Cloud as we transition over to the mid lane right here. He's not grumpy at all. He's been playing amazingly, actually, right? One of those big carries. Zuna as well put on a really good performance.
He's got his head in the game.
He really does, and he always like leans forward too. You always see the top of his head in those shots. But he's had a very, very good time. I would say even in the Cloud9 game was holding on for a long time. Had a lot of really aggressive moves there. The level 1, he like rocket jumped on top of people, picked up extra kills there.
Yeah.
It's Vulcan, for as late game as they tend to play, are a pretty fearless team.
Oh, yeah, and you can tell when Zuna's having a good time. The entire studio can tell when Zuna is having a good time.
Usually they win a team fight, and then you're just like, let's go! And you're like, yep, Zuna got a couple of kills right there.
Get some! I love that one. Gets me amped up. Casting it. Oh, he's taking it. He's recharging. You know, it does take a lot out of you when you play these games, and this is a long day. Usually our days are not 8 games straight. So definitely getting some well-deserved shut-eye right there right before the match.
That's fine. That's fair. And I like the teams that also, just speaking of their pregame energy and whatnot, I like that Elements leads Coast and says, all right, guys, and like and you saw it in the video, actually, the Elements feature, right? He is yelling at the top of their lungs. Like, they're all within, like, 2 feet, and he's, like, belting out Coast on 3. It's like, they can hear you. You realize you're right there. And he's, like, he's going for the energy, though. He's getting people hyped up. And I like the teams that do that have those pregame huddles, that have the, like, hardcore oomph going into it, and just you get psyched up. I think it's worthwhile.
And we saw TSM. They heard the Coast chant right there, and they're like, yes, we're using this as well.
Not a MLG doesn't have the crowd cheer it for you, but heck, you can do it yourselves, of course, and there you go. Now, guys, we are, of course, in a Champions Select, as you can plainly see, and the Thresh immediately dropped away from Bloodwater, and Vulcan, as we've seen so many times, the red team is banning Nunu away.
Surprise, surprise. No first pick Nunu for you guys. Looks like they have another Jace ban. Pretty much the same thing there. Very much expected. If you're not going to play him, a lot of teams do not like going up against that.
A lot of Freljord bans coming through right now. Actually, the Lissandra dropped away. I mean, we saw that. I mean, that was what Vulcan used. It was the Lissandra Jarvan. Man, was that painful.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if now with the Lissandra ban, if they let Yi go through, and they have so far.
They're going to let Yi go through. Also, though, Dignitas didn't ban out Tristana. So Zuna's favorite AD carry there for that guaranteed endgame hyper carry is available, and it looks like we are going to see that flexibility we were talking about before, where Kiwi Kid comes in with that Twisted Fate to the mid lane.
So that's going to be the strategy adaptation here for the Dignitas grouping. Of course, Vulcan getting some favorite picks of their own as well. They locked those in fast. The Shen and the Elise coming through. We've seen them a heck of a lot today, and they're just comfortable picks here. In the same time, I mean, I'm a Cutie Pie and Patoy, that was the exact same champions they've picked against Cloud9.
Yeah, and in that game, I was talking about the level 6 burst. It definitely didn't disappoint, because as soon as you have that crescendo to lock people in place, Graves can just unload on that target. And that's why we usually see one of those two in the bottom lane take an Ignite. This is one of the few duo lanes that actually run Ignite because they have so much burst potential, and they go for that level 6 kill.
So let's see if they can get those damages out there and get the burst going. Early game power definitely here for the Graves, and not so much here for Vulcan if they do go for the Tristana. It is a team that likes to play for the late game. They've got the split push from the Shen to help make that happen. They've got Elise to scale through it as well. Zuna still liking that Tristana pickup here. The Megalyn Gunner used for the late game carry.
Yeah, and Yi still is up, but with already taking Twisted Fate, it's very hard for Twisted Fate to go to one of the long side lanes. So that pretty much guarantees that you're going to have a Twisted Fate middle, and the top laner is probably going to have to be someone who won't get camped so easily. Like we already saw that weakness in Master Yi.
So let's see what they go for right here. The Zed was banned away, so it's a new pick here for Skarra. It's been twice that they've run Zed with the Twisted Fate. They're looking at Diana right now. Skarra definitely no stranger to that champion, but they need a jungler. And heck, Crumbs is going to say, look, I'll go back to Xin Zhao. Very similar team for Dignitas.
Yes, he loves that Xin Zhao. Even after the nerfs, he said, you know, it's been long enough. I'm returning to my man. And it's pretty good that he does have that knockback, because it's a nice extra AoE damage that he can combo after the burst that I'm a Cutie Pie and Patoy can provide.
And I've actually seen players with reflexes good enough to actually like do knockbacks on Shen ultimates and like Renekton Slice and Die. Like if you can actually get the Crescent Sweep and stop an escape tool, the more power to you. Crumbs is going to see if you can do it this game around. We talked about reflexes earlier on. It's more than just Smite. See if you can get the ults going.
So it's really interesting how you can use that Crescent Streak too, because the person that you're attacking, your target, will get the debuff that they are the only one that won't be knocked away. So if you don't actually attack anyone, then you can knock back everybody and use it as a disengage, or you can single out one target to kill.
And here we go, Vulcan going full late game. The Zuna on Tristana, the mandatory Cloud Rise, and Vulcan are hoping this game goes as CLG as possible, 40 minutes plus.
As CLG as possible. Yeah, they've just got all the answers late game. We also saw earlier today Shen ultimates trumping the Twisted Fate ultimates coming in for ganks. Every time we had a Twisted Fate come in for the gank, Shen's shield was there to turn it back around, because not only does Shen arrive, but he also brings a big shield to the party.
Yeah, and that's going to be a party that Vulcan might not want to have come in. More of a blanket party than a surprise party, and not the right kind of party you want. Now, of course, Dignitas making their way through the rest of the champion. Hey, it works, it works. And so here we go, right? The burst competition is here. It's going to be up to KiwiKid, I think, to make a lot of early moves. And we're going to see how Skarra does in, I want to say, kind of a junk lane, right? He's going to be chilling at the bottom side with Diana. And it's like, all right, Skarra, just hold on. Do what you can. KiwiKid's going to make a bunch of moves, probably snowball Cutie Pie. See you in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, see if you can stop some of those Stand Uniteds. You know, get in there with that Moonfall, pull him back.
So interestingly enough, though, I want to talk about some of these matchups, because I feel like Vulcan are going to not want to fight heads up in a 2v2. You've got a Poker and Lulu fighting a Sustainer and Sona, which is typically not a great matchup. You've got Tristana, who we've called so many times a weaker laner. You pick her for the late game. I don't think you want to fight a 2v2 there.
So the thing about that, you know, Tristana early game weakness that we always talk about, Doublelift, that was a 2 versus 2 lane. He went even in CS versus Draven.
True.
I mean, this might have been an overhyped thing, as you know, it's very rare for Doublelift to exaggerate. But
never.
But when
Never
but sometimes
exaggerates.
he does.
Never. I don't even believe you. I don't even think sometimes. He's a man true to his word. Here we go, guys. Into the game. Number 8 of the day. Freak and Kobe bringing you an awesome one. Dignitas here in the blue side of the bottom left, making their way out of the base. Vulcan in the top right. You know, Vulcan even matches their team colors right now. They've got those red logos. They've got the red background. And they're looking for the red buff.
Vision for both teams. We have scouted each other out here, and we are inside the Dignitas jungle already. Look at this sneaky 3-man invade on the blue, though, to answer. And they've left a nice trail of wards behind them here. The Tribush warded out. So if Vulcan do take the bottom exit, Dignitas are going to know about it.
And interestingly enough, they've got a ward so far down towards that double glimpse. They'll actually watch guys go towards lane. Vulcan will have an early read on who goes where for level 1.
They did all just recall, though. So Vulcan going to get their vision down and get out of there.
And they have safe, complete darkness on their own red buff. Now the question is, are Vulcan confident enough to walk into their own red? Because we just heard Nian talk about level 1s and say, you know, we split up Link basically to ward the bottom side to make sure they didn't invade somewhere else. But there is zero vision of Vulcan has no idea where there are any wards at all from Dignitas here.
And this vision that they did get on the double golem's actually not going to come to anything because nobody's stopping it. So it looks like they are going to go with those late double golem start for QtPie and Patoy, which just means that they'll either miss 1 or 2 minions. We'll have to actually see how quickly they can do this. Graves and Sona is a very good combo for bursting down these double golems and getting to lane quickly.
So those are going to be going down. Free advantage here for the Dignitas lineup. Crumbs left to solo his own red buff right here. Will he burn Smite for it? No, just gets the help from Patoy and saves the Smite. We had seen Zuna and Bloodwater check the enemy blue buff, didn't see anything there, but they have been given this 2v1 lane, so at the very least they scouted a safe lane for Zuna.
And down bottom, QtPie only missed experience from 1 minion, but he missed gold from 2 by doing those double golems. So if you're able to rush them down quickly, you can actually still pull that advantage off.
And there we go, level 2 already. One of the earliest in the game. Smithy goes to try to stop this blue buff. Of course, you can see Crumbs and Scar trying to stop this one out. The jump goes in on a blood bar, but here comes Zuna and co. Exhaust onto Crumbs. Crumbs has already burned his flash away. They might not have the damage needed to kill him, but they have wrested control of the blue, so this blue crest will go to them.
So Crumbs actually jumping in there and has to burn his summoner. That's going to be pretty big for his ganks because Xin Zhao needs that flash to gain any large amount of distance. It means something really good here for especially the mid lane, Mandatory Cloud. Since Mandatory Cloud started with that crystal, he doesn't have vision of the bottom side. He was only had the 1 ward that put there for him by Lulu. So he can just hug that ward and he'll be completely safe.
Well, good luck then to Mandatory Cloud right now. Bloodwater really hurting Scar up. Still a level 1 Diana here. And Smithy with free reign over his buff as well. QtPie actually gets taunted under the turret. Takes a shot for that one. Should be able to get sustained back up, but nice move by Sid. So 3-1. Early buffs go to Vulcan. The early level 1 plays end up paying off. Vulcan to an early lead here.
And look at this level 2 Crumbs. He's getting, well, we're going to have the Spider invade around. We'll see if Crumbs actually, he is going to go try and support that top. So Smithy's going to have vision here. And he lands a Cocoon.
Lands a Cocoon, goes for the extra burst as well. Does a good bit of damage, dropping Crumbs below half HP. And look, this Vulcan has a surround on Scar's turret. They're bringing the Spider Queen back up there as well, but they're running out of minions very, very quickly. Scar's shield will time out, and they're now proxying the minion wave. This is going to be a lot of turret pressure.
Vulcan can just stay in between these 2 turrets. They have nothing to worry about since they can see all the other members of Dignitas, and they can just zone Crumbs off of that turret for Scar to CS there.
Looks like they jump in on Crumbs right now. A lot of slows on him. The burst coming across. Do they have what it takes? Yes, they do. First blood goes to Zuna, and Scar is still trapped.
Crumbs wanted to get some sort of evacuation there for Scarra, but he stuck around too long and he didn't have flash, so Vulcan make him pay for it. Great job right there. They did burn the flash, but totally worth it. Got the first blood, and they can continue to sit behind the tower if they want to.
But look at this move from Scarra. He just proxied the next minion wave coming in, so Vulcan have to run all the way back around. Scarra taking it up just enough there. Has his abilities back from cooldown. Scar kind of reset that, kept his turret and himself alive.
KiwiKid doing a nice job there in that mid lane, pushing
And
Cloud back off.
But look at this dual lane though. Dignitas have taken the first turret at 5 minutes because there was no jungle support down there. So basically it's a first blood traded for a turret, which is a bit of a lead. Oh, the stun lands. Goodbye, KiwiKid. Nice try on the juke. Already had burned his flash. So now 2 kills for a turret so far in this game.
Nice try on the juke, but Smithy did exactly what you're supposed to do. He auto-attacked using his red buff while closing distance and just letting KiwiKid juke. The more you juke, the less distance you're going to gain, and he does land the very easy Cocoon, not waiting until he's right next to him.
So 2 kills traded for a turret, and we see we have equal gold as a result. Psycho Sid in the back near his own turret trying to last hit, only has 10 so far. Scar though, he's up to 21 from his efforts in proxying some of those minions, so he's having a much better time early game. Crumbs showing up to defend this turret. So far so good, but the turret's down about 500 health. This could be going down soon.
Yeah, even though the first turret went to Dignitas, Vulcan can answer very soon as long as QtPie does not get up there, because they were able to kill Crumbs and it went to Zuna, so he's got a red buff. Not only can he spam that E on you, his explosive shot's going to tick down on you, and the red buff is going to be doing true damage.
And with that turret going down, Zuna will get a quick advantage here, but to point something out, he's only up 50 gold on QtPie right now, because with all that pressure going for the turret damage, Zuna did miss out on about 13 minions compared to his opponent. So oddly enough, the first blood is sort of negated by some of those minion kills.
The minions definitely in the advantage of QtPie, but Psycho Sid over here has a nice wave, and he can farm up till he gets level 6. Stan United's going to be in the game very soon here, and that gives Vulcan a really nice upper hand in the next skirmish that happens. Oh, Kiwi Kid gets hit.
Oh, a bunch of damage there. Card gonna get locked, but will... Oh, yep, Smithy's gonna go for it. ManCloud gets the kill credit, though. Ignite making that one happen. Good job here to Vulcan. They've turned this one 3-0 so far with a 1,000 gold lead.
Smithy showing why the Jungle Elise is so popular. His presence has been ridiculous, making plays all over the map. He's the one getting all of these kills and getting the early advantage for Vulcan.
Yeah, his presence has really just opened up the kills. His little gifts to his team. He's got assists the entire way through. So, ManCloud, I mean, 2-0 at the start. How scary is it to be like, okay, Ryze is a late game carry, so if we can end it before late game, we're good. And he's got a huge head start with 2 kills.
Yeah, Vulcan, we talked about having the late game team comp. It's all late game except for that Jungle Elise, who has a really strong early game, and he is making it pay off so well right here. Now, for Dignitas, though, they are going to have that dual level 6 with the Sona and Graves coming in pretty soon. So we'll have to see if they can actually pull something off without being interrupted by the Shen shield coming in with his Stan United.
See if they can do it, because there is Psycho Sid in the top lane split pushing. Dragon might just be next on the table, but right now ward coverage is better for Dignitas. They've got the vision ward on Dragon. That's a bit of an advantage for them. Crumb sweeps out his own jungle. I want to see if he uses Smite here. He does not, so he knows it's on the table, wants to save Smite for a pending Dragon battle.
And Skara going up against Psycho Sid, even though he has a minion advantage, we have the items already purchased on Psycho Sid. So he's sitting on a Doran's belt. All right. Oh, here we go. Zuna's going in on Cutie Pie.
Big shields on there, going to keep him alive right there. And now Cutie Pie is surrounded. Great taunt comes across. Good bait there by Zuna. And now Patoy forced away as well. 4-0 in kills. This could be a dragon soon for Vulcan.
Yeah, that's a Giant's belt, not a Doran's belt. Doran only uses shield, swords, and rings. No belts for him.
This is not a leathersmith. Leathersmith? What's the word for that?
That's good enough.
Leathersmith.
I think we should leave that.
I've coined
one.
it.
Let's5 that one be. Anyway, we did make use of that Stan United we talked about. Yes, success. Yes. And they were rewarded with a kill. Vulcan again, they're just really steamrolling this early game, which was quite unexpected.
Seems the valve is opened right here. Vulcan are just really opening things up right now. There we go. Dragon goes down. Now Dignitas are countering this one top lane. Crumb's waiting in the brush as Scar pushes.
Oh, Scar's going in for it, but here's the TF ult too.
And it's Psycho Sid running towards the left. He still has flash. He's outrunning Kiwi Kid right now. Now can he make his way out? That turret is dead. He's got a lot of places to run.
Okay, so if he waits for the Audacious charge and then taunts to also grab Crumbs in it, then he can actually get away from... Oh, he's just going to wait to go over the wall.
Whoa! Does get knocked up at the very last second, but has made it over the wall first. Good escape there. Psycho Sid burned a lot of ults. They trade turrets for it, too. That's 5 for Vulcan.
He still has flash, too. He didn't have to burn a summoner even for that. Dignitas are just getting run around right now.
1,500 gold is what you get for Vulcan when you do this well early on. 73 minion kills, 2 champion kills, a dragon, and 2 turrets are making Mandatory Cloud a very, very rich Ryze. I lost it. I didn't want to say cloud. I was going to say like collection of evaporated water, and it was like, that's horrible. And then I just kind of died inside. So Psycho Sid, man, still on the split push. Doesn't even have his ultimate, but man, he's all right there. He's still farming up 2,500 gold on him. Zuna actually holding on to $1,500 right now. He's about to smack someone in the face with that money.
$1 bill. Yes, Zuna, he can't freeze the wave back there by the turret because he is just on it, and that explosive shot is going to automatically push. So best option when you can't freeze is just shove as hard as you can. So you can see using all of his auto attacks, even using the rapid fire to try and shove that minion wave into the turret and then join his team as soon as possible, because Vulcan definitely have the upper hand right now.
But Dignitas aren't yet reacting to Zuna right there. He's a little bit afraid without any ward coverage, but they've just now sent Cutie Pie and Patoy. If Zuna pushed hard enough, he'd almost get into the turret in time, but it looks like Dignitas will defend this outer turret.
Dignitas, they sent 3 people down here. Crumbs is not going behind Zuna, though, so he's actually just going to walk away. Yordle legs will be long enough this day.
And if not, he could rocket jump, so whatever. Nice try there by Zuna. Nice attempt there by Crumbs. Zuna gets some farm and gets out. However, we still have that minion kill difference there. I'm a Cutie Pie just hits 100. The first person in the game to do that. has his BF sword. He's actually just about 200 gold away from Bloodthirster.
That will be a really nice bonus for Dignitas because they need to burst somebody down. They have to catch someone out, lock them down with some CC, and then have QtPie just unload to get back in this game. They can still easily come back from this one. It's only 4 kills. Yes, they are behind, but we've seen bigger comebacks, and those come from catching out members of Vulcan.
Something that Dignitas are definitely very, very good at doing. Destiny, the Twisted Fate Ultimate, really good at making those happen. For sure, he missed the last one, but it's back up now. However, we talked about this in the pregame. Psycho Sid's Global is also available, so the shields are here to defend a Twisted Fate gank.
So what Vulcan want to do is just play safe because they know Dignitas are going to look for that pick. They're looking to catch off some straggler, and Vulcan really needs to up their ward game here and increase the vision.
Oh, good escape right there. Just out of range of the Crescent Strike from Scar right there. That was a close call. Zuna almost went forward in the lane as well and said, okay. So, yeah, Dignitas are waiting right there on the river.
Oh, they do miss the cocoon, but Mandatory Cloud already the 12-minute Rod of Ages plus tier and boots. He is on a very, very quick path to victory.
You'd say he's on Mandatory Cloud 9 right now. And I mean that in terms of he's very, very happy as opposed to the other team. All right, that one failed. Moving on. Dignitas holding on to the remains of their mid lane right here. Of course, that turret has already gone down. Vulcan actually, it's surprising me they're not split pushing that exposed outer turret in the bottom. They're kind of just letting that one sit as it is and just letting Psycho Sid stay in the top lane, even though I don't know if he's going to get onto that turret.
Dignitas looking for the engage.
They find that onto Bloodwater right here. Good sheep, though. They still get the pull in. The battle is going to begin. Oh, my God. The burst onto Bloodwater does not get to use Wild Growth. And now Smithy kind of lurking around in the shadows. Skara might be going down. That kill is found. Smithy flashes over the wall. Does not hit the wild card. Zuna knocks back out of Crumbs. Still trying to run away. I'm a QtPie. They're trying to clean up right here. Can they chase out a Mandatory Cloud? Oh, Cubican finds one. Now looking to flank on the enemy team. A 3-for-1, though. Dignitas, huge team fight.
QtPie hits the Bloodthirster. Bam, they go in for the AoE, and now Mandatory Cloud wants Patoy, but just barely denied.
Just no health left on that guy right here. Mandatory Cloud. This is a little bit risky. QtPie's life stealing up successfully with that Bloodthirster, and they have the wave to push this mid turret down.
Oh, yeah. Dignitas just got a whole bunch of confidence off of that last fight. We just had Scar do a beautiful job setting up that crescendo. Patoy landing it, and now Crumb's in trouble. He does get caught.
Oh, man. He did not expect Bloodwater to come in time. That slow really helping him pick that one up right there. Now I'm a QtPie forced to run. If the Whimsy can help ManCloud move forward, that might just be enough to get the catch on the QtPie. Almost into range, but gives respect to the possible gold card from Kiwi Kid.
Kiwi Kid did pick up a card right there, and it did have it. Oh, Smithy comes in for the invade, though. If he actually had used Repel right there, he could have revealed the low health Twisted Fate at double golems, but they just throw down a ward instead.
Vulcan a little bit afraid of the enemy jungle. They could have stolen away the red if they wanted to, but didn't know what was waiting around the corners. Decided, we'll let this one go for now. Play it a little bit safer. Let's not do anything too risky. We're getting the late game team with Ryze and Tristana. Let's just get there.
Yeah, they just saw exactly what Dignitas are playing right here. The Scar engage, group people up with his Moonfall, and then have Patoy come in, lay the crescendo beautifully across those 3 people, and have QtPie use his entire burst combo on the dancers.
Yeah, Patoy's ultimate is really music to Dignitas' ears. It's winning them the team fights right now, but Zuna is constantly applying the pressure. He's actually doing a better job split pushing, I would say, than Psycho Sid right there. While Vulcan are taking this dragon, and Zuna can escape if he gets ganked. This is a great move by Vulcan.
Yeah, but Dignitas, they're not going to contest this move. They're actually sending 3 members top to push down that turret even faster.
Really, really smart adaptation there. Dignitas going to push this one down. The attack speed buff there for Crumbs. And this is going to be another turret answered back right there as QtPie did push away Zuna, winning that duel in the bottom lane. So, secondary upper turret traded for a dragon. Pretty good move. And Vulcan are not making headway in this mid lane.
Yeah, Patoy actually fending off 2 people right there. I thought they might even dive, but it looks like Dignitas did a really good job. They answered, plus they gave QtPie the free farm to stack his Bloodthirster fully. That's an extra 30 damage and 6% lifesteal.
139 CS to 105. You compare the gold, and he is now 600 above Zuna right there. That late game 80 carry, he was given first blood. They've kept the turrets close, but I'm a QtPie is just much more massive right there. Richest guy on his team, almost at 6K, barely beneath this Mandatory Cloud we were hyping up before. So I'm a QtPie big factor in this game.
Well, yeah, this is the part of the game where Graves stronger than Tristana. Tristana had a really good early game, and that's a great start. But Blade of the Ruin King on her early, she doesn't have the punch that Graves has right now where he's built full damage. Zuna, he usually goes with Infinity Edge after the Blade of the Ruin King, and that's really when he starts to hurt.
So another about 2,700 gold still to go till Zuna can pick up that item. Sitting at about 1,200 right now, can get the pickaxe. Could wait for a BF sword, but still a ways to go. Now, Dragon's got a little bit of time left to go on this one. Dragon's going to be at 2130, so a good long way until a major objective is there that might give Vulcan enough time to get a couple more items collected and regroup for that next team fight.
It's really Dignitas that want to group up here because we saw it before. They want to make use of the AoE kits that their champions have. If your Graves burst combo is only being used on one person, then Vulcan actually still have the option to coming back in and re-engaging. Here, Zuna's going for the 1v1.
That's not a good one for Zuna. Just it gets exploded right there. But Cutie Pie still has half health left as well. Despite the Blade of the Ruin King active being used, just was not enough. So Zuna, he's going to have to rethink this one. This push could be successful for a turret here, Dignitas.
Yeah, Cutie Pie, AD carry dominance achieved. He just showed Zuna what's up right there. No more 1v1. I mean, Blade of the Ruin King is a nice dueling item, but Zuna's reliant too much on auto attacks. Here goes the TF ulti coming into mid lane, but he actually just wanted to get vision for this split push for Crumbs and Cutie Pie.
And that turret did go down. There's the ult from Crumbs. Well-timed, blocking the Q in from McSmith. He did not want to get chased out. The reflexes are there. Bloodwater hasting up ManCloud. ManCloud will not find Kiwi Kid, who gets hasted away by Patoy. So Vulcan not finding the counter engage they wanted. 4-2 now in turrets. And that means a 600 gold lead now for Dignitas. The seems the fates have twisted here, and Dignitas now in a bit of a lead as they hold on and look for their next team fight.
And once again, it seems a lot of Dignitas' hope are resting on Cutie Pie right now. He jokes around a lot about being able to carry any team, but you know, he really needs to put in the work to carry a lot of these recent games, and he's doing a good job against Zuna.
Zuna, I don't know if you're going to like this one very much. Rocket Jump gets canceled out by the Q from Crumbs. Pushes back on a Cutie Pie. That gives him an isolated kill onto Crumbs. Crumbs goes down. Does not land the taunt on a Cutie Pie, but Cutie Pie is going to be caught alone. Fails to flash over the wall. This is not good. Bloodwater's going to be nearby. Oh, the counter back onto Zuna. That was beautiful. Sorry, he did not fail his flash. He saved that for this move right here. Now Bloodwater, can he get the slow he needs? Actually lands the second Glitter Lance on a Cutie Pie. Here's the exhaust as well. There's the taunt. Cutie Pie barriers. He doesn't want to go down for this one. Gives the kill over.
Oh, Cutie Pie with the beautiful switcheroo there, though, right over the wall. And he does kill Zuna one more time. Worth.
Very stylish play right there. And Cutie Pie picks up a static shiv for his efforts, so even more burst on this AD carry. However, Vulcan are answering back. They've put minions, put their members, I should say, towards the mid lane, looking for something here. Keeping it down to half health. They find the engage on a Patoy. The cocoon lands as well. Crescendo goes back across, but now Vulcan's got to be afraid. They're getting a little bit surrounded. Smithy forced to run away. Mandatory Cloud in the mid lane, getting jumped on actually. Crumbs making that happen. Kiwi Kid goes down, but the chase is on. Scarra makes that one happen. 1 for 1 so far.
That was, again, Scarra was split pushing in that top lane, and he walked all the way down here. He's joined, and Crumbs keeps up the chase.
Here we go, 3v3, about to happen. Bloodwater flashes the wall. Psycho Sid coming around, does not land the taunt. Crumbs dashes in too quickly. Smithy forced to run away. He might just make it out right here, but Crumbs will have the dash soon. He's got it.
Joins the fight.
Oh, this could be rough. Psycho Sid gets jumped on. His taunt, it's up in 2 seconds right there. It's a disengage, nothing else found.
So there's a giant minion wave up top, which is drawing Vulcan back. Dignitas could actually use this opportunity to shove up the middle and keep some pressure on.
That turret is just still standing a little bit longer. 1,100 health in that one, not much to go. About 1/3 HP. Crumbs shoving that up. And unsurprisingly, Vulcan does donate that top lane farm to Zuna, though, putting a lot of their hopes on his tiny little Yordle shoulders.
And meanwhile, it's Scarra who's been cleaning up most of these free lane minion kills here. He went from top in the free lane down to bottom. Now he's cleaning up all the rest of that money down there. So Scarra is actually accumulating quite a bit of gold. And once he gets his Zanyas, his initiate's going to be even more scary because that's exactly what they want to do to set up the crescendo. He'll be able to Zanyas after that, and he won't have to fear for his life.
And Scar's about 900 gold away from that mark. He's got the Seekers. He's sitting on about 1,200 gold right now. It's 2,100 from this point to finish that combined. He's even sacrificed upgrading his boots for this. He knows that's the next item coming into play for himself. And do you think Dignitas will wait for that? Because the thing is, Dragon's coming up in 30 seconds, and that's going to be a big thing to look for both these teams.
Well, they actually need to grab that Dragon. The gold right now so even. Dignitas can make use. Oh no, they don't have their AoE ultimates available. I mean, that was a really nice play there by QtPie, but the collateral damage plus the crescendo down right now would mean that if Dignitas challenged that Dragon, it'd be a bluff.
It would be a bluff, and the thing is, there are some of their own cooldowns down as well, for what it's worth. Psycho Sid has about a minute left on his Stand United. There's this weird sort of mix of, does everyone know exactly what summoners and what ultimates are available? Because a lot of these teams are actually without ultis. Bloodwater's ult's down. ManCloud, I guess his Rise doesn't care too much, but there's these interesting situations where cooldowns aren't there for either side.
Yeah, the ult's just so much more important for Dignitas, though. They have to have that AoE combo to be able to win these team fights. Not having Stand United isn't the biggest of deals, because if Shen is already there, then he's doing his job. He's going to be the tank in the front. He's going to try and land a good taunt, and if he can get to the back line, then they don't actually need that shield from Stand United.
So here we go. Scarra recalls back to base. Make sure he's nice and healthy right here. Doesn't seem to have picked up too much, though. Not even a blue elixir and whatnot. So he's just going to make sure his health and mana is full. The ward's getting swept out a little bit here by Dignitas, but looks like they're getting ready to contest for a Dragon. But Vulcan's already started it out right there, down below half health.
Yeah, Dignitas don't even want to try for this one. You could see Scar was already heading top lane. So without that combo, they don't feel confident enough to fight Vulcan.
Now that is the third Dragon then here picked up by this Vulcan squad. They are succeeding in keeping their gold up. They're up 3 kills. They're up, I think, 3 Dragons to 0 at this point. They're only down that 1 turret in the TF passive. So the gold has remained close, but Dragon control is a lot of what gave TSM the win over Velocity earlier today.
And Dignitas, again, they've got a giant minion wave that pushed all the way to the inhibitor turret, but weren't really able to make use of that pressure up in the bottom side, and they just kind of sat in the shadows, and Zuna got some more free farm.
And that's not a good thing to deal with, really. Let me look at Zuna and Mandatory Cloud, right? 4-1-1 on Rise, 3-3-1 on that Tristana, 150 minion kills plus a piece. They're both sitting on an average of 8,000 gold here, so the items are getting completed. Zuna only about 700-800 gold away from finishing that Infinity Edge, that big power spike he desperately wants. Mandatory Cloud similarly looking at a finished Abyssal Scepter when he gets back to base. He's sending out a bunch of money as well.
We could see the gank onto Sid, though. If Sid continually solo pushes like that, then Twisted Fate is actually a really good champion for attacking that global presence in Shen. If you can teleport in with Twisted Fate to someone who's already laning against Shen, then that's a very, very viable strategy of shutting down those Shen split pushes.
He's looking for it right there. You can see Psycho Sid is remaining up there, finally keeping up minion kills. 137, not the highest, had a bit of trouble early in the laning phase, but sitting on that Sunfire is finally getting the push happening right there. Scar, though, waiting for him in the brush. This could be an attempt on his life. There we go.
Kiwi's halfway up the river, and he does get it there in time.
He gets the taunt off on a Scar, but the gold card lands. A lot of bursts coming across. Psycho Sid not liking a lot of this right here. Low, low, low on health. One more attack comes in. Scar picks up the kill. Great gank.
That's how you play a global fight there. You go after the Shen, because he's not going to be able to Stand United himself and have 2 ninjas appear. Great job there by Dignitas, and they're taking advantage by QtPie, again, shoving solo versus Zuna. And after he already heads up killed Zuna twice, Zuna does not want to fight QtPie.
Seems to really not want to, so waiting still on the Infinity Edge. Right there, Crumbs about to face check a bunch of damage. There's the damage out, but knocks the team back, but he's been cocooned. Will the rest of the burst come through? It's going to be close. The Hex comes in. There's the Elise Repel. Mandatory Cloud picks up a kill. 5-1 on that champion. QtPie still on the right-hand side, though.
The Bush ganks have been able to turn around so many games. You could tell Crumbs hesitating. He had a feeling someone was in that Bush, but he finally got a little too impatient and stepped too close.
So now Dignitas putting on the brakes a little bit. They finally did take out that middle turret right there. That was actually Patoy just saying, I've got a minion wave, I'm a Sona, I'm going to just throw some cords at it, and then we're good to go. But now the rest of the base, I feel like it's going to be hard for Dig to push in. Secondary turrets are very hard to kill, and, you know, without, I mean, heck, they're at a gold deficit. Dignitas pushing more advantages is going to be hard for them, I feel.
Yeah, it is. As the game goes on, it just gets harder and harder for Dignitas. They have to repeatedly pull off moves like the one a couple minutes ago where they caught out Sid. They need to catch one more person off and then turn that into an objective. See, it's great if you kill Sid, but if you don't take anything after killing him, then it's not going to get you back in this game.
So Sid still has his own ultimate available. We have just 12 seconds left on Kiwi Kids, so those will basically just be up and available. So these teams able to move around the map right now.
Ooh.
Sid did make that adaptation we saw before, got the Wits End, wants to duel some magic damage dealers, and he's going actually for the bottom lane to deal with I'm a Cutie Pie.
Well, he does have, Sunfire Cape and Doran's Shield too. But Mandatory Clouds, this time's the target. He does get Shen ulti, but that's 3 people.
There we go, 3 versus 2, a beautiful knockback as well. ManCloud was nowhere to go. That's 1 kill picked up. Now Patoy shows up. Psycho Sid's got nowhere to go. Wild Growth comes in, fails the flash. A lot of crowd control on him. 2 kills for nothing. That could be Baron for Dignitas.
Boom, we say they need to catch someone out, and they catch someone out again. Great job by Dignitas. They're getting right back in this one. Cutie Pie is going to be able to take down this inhibitor turret.
And yeah, and if Zuna is set to defend, it's going to be no pressure for the Baron as well. Dignitas sweeping out the wards right now. Cutie Pie lurking around. Zuna being sent over here. Let's see if he can win this duel. Has the Infinity Edge this time around. Is going to look for the fight right here. Puts the explosive shot down. And there's the fight. The burst comes across on both sides. Zuna, can you chase him down? Pops the ult. Rocket jumps forward. Does he have the damage? The flash comes out. Zuna gets the kill right there. And Baron, though, being attempted. It's Psycho Sid. Sorry, it's Smithy falling down. Dignitas pick one up.
Oh, Crumbs got so low from the Baron, though, that they can't finish it. So they just traded kills right there. Good solo this time by Zuna. Now we reach the point with the Infinity Edge and the extra free auto attacks that he got because Cutie Pie was targeting the turret, that he can actually win the duel.
Overall, a 3-for-1 trade for Dignitas overall. That puts them now 800 gold in the lead. These guys are trading these minor gold leads back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The next dragon up in 40 seconds right now. Sid will not have his ult for it, but Kiwi Kid will soon.
Very rough right there. Dignitas had the window, a little bit indecisive. If Cutie Pie had not wasted 2 of those free auto attacks that Zuna got on him, and he probably could have come out on top. But that's just such a close decision. They really, really wanted that inhibitor turret. It's this late game. We're already getting there. Even if it's only 27 minutes, but we're already having to see the decisions between going for the inhibitor turrets or the Barons.
And 209 health is all that's left on that bottom lane turret. So speaking of, pressure and making the right decisions, we've seen so many games where Baron and inhibitors are 2 different objectives split amongst the teams right there. Now Vulcan have still controlled Dragon, though. That is really, I feel, keeping them in this game. It's going to be another one over and over and over again. Dragon being more than 10% of Vulcan's gold at this point.
The Dragons definitely have been the story here, similar to the Cloud9 games. They've timed them so well. And Cloud9 even said that Vulcan are a team that's most similar to them, especially in champion picks. So interesting to see both of them focus very much on that Dragon. This time, Psycho Sid up there in the top split pushing does throw down a few pings on this Dignitas gank that's coming at him again.
Yeah, the TF ult goes in. They're looking for that top limit there. Psycho Sid not in a good place. Does he have the escapes he needs? I don't really think so. Down below half HP, still trying to run. Does not have flash. Gold card lands, shields it, but the engage is there. Kill picked up, but the mid lane is getting shoved down by Vulcan. It's going to be Dignitas having to make a decision right now. The fight comes in. They find him a Cutie Pie. Cutie Pie, the crescendo comes in for Patoy. Is it going to be enough? Cutie Pie falls over. There's 1 kill picked up. The top lane still getting pushed out. Patoy chased down inside of his base. The inhibitor is going to be going down to this top lane. Vulcan are behind in structures right now.
So this is dead even. They trade 1 for 1, and they're going to trade inhibitor for inhibitor.
This is going to be the inhib indeed falling, and Dignitas actually having to walk out of the base to recall because minions would stop them here. 12 to 11 right there. AD carry versus top laner falls off. Dignitas recall. And oh, this game just got crazy.
Now everybody's eyes turned towards Baron. Dignitas were well aware that Vulcan could make the rotation up there, so they recalled to base as quickly as possible and now need to make a beeline back up there. There's no vision.
They're doing it. The Shen ult comes by as well. It doesn't help make sure they DPS in time. They have the tanks. Zuna has Rapid Fire and a Blade of the Rune King. This is theirs. Vulcan not only traded inhibitors, but took an uncontested Baron. That is huge. A 2,300 gold lead. That team's got to get out.
Dignitas just a little bit too slow right there. They come up the river However, they're going to find a terrible, terrible surprise. The Baron is gone.
It is gone. So Dignitas go, "Oof, that was rough." And they had people in the top lane. They, like, I guess they had no minions left anymore, but that was weird. They didn't want to go for the base race at all. They said, okay, we'll play defense, but you know, they didn't keep anyone nearby the Baron pit. I feel like they were in the top jungle. They could have waited around for the team.
Yeah, no ward coverage too meant that Vulcan had an easy time because they had oracles, so they knew no vision from Dignitas, and they just went to go rush that Baron. So now we return again. Dignitas have to pull some sort of pick, and there are actually only 4 members in this bush. Vulcan are coming in as 5 with Baron.
Smithy's lurking around the side. They're getting antsy. The gold card is locked. Oh, he wards over the wall, and they catch on to Crumbs. Will it be the engage? Volto Spiderling comes across the haste on a Psycho Sid. They're diving in for it. Do they have the damage they need? Gold card lands on Smithy. The collateral damage is burned. There's a knockup. Crumbs pops the ult, though. He will go down, but there's Mancloud getting caught out by Scar. He flashes out. Scar, Zodius. Smithy goes down 1 for 1 so far. Now Scar, what can he do in this one? Getting jumped on. Zuna survives, and Mancloud picks up the kill. Now it's a 4 versus 3. Vulcan's going to get out.
So Dignitas actually able to salvage a kill from that one, turning it around. Really well played. They're able to get 1 Baron buff down, and look at the work of the top minion wave there. It means Vulcan gonna have to retreat to their base now.
They retreat to their base, but it also means a significant amount of farm about to be going to one of the major carries now of Vulcan. You look at Zuna, he's added Last Whisper to the repertoire. You look at Mandatory Cloud, he's getting close to Frozen Heart right now. And you've got 3 champions who want to auto-attack a lot on Dignitas. Frozen Heart is going to be a pretty important power spike.
It's going to be very interesting how Vulcan actually play the late game team fights, because yes, they do have Tristana, which is one of the best tools you can have in these very end game team fights, but Dignitas have so much burst and dive in their composition that they can easily burst down Zuna and make him a non-factor in that fight. It's really going to depend on the quality of Psycho Sid's either stand united onto Zuna or his taunts to peel for Zuna.
And Zuna's a player who has a lot of confidence in his own abilities. Back in the playoffs, he picked Kog'Maw into Nocturne Shen and said, yes, I can outplay them. I can dodge the shadow dashes. I'll be fine there. And actually did so. Played an unsafe carry against the dive comp and survived that one. Zuna has been making, I mean, he's always been confident in his abilities. He's tried to just dual Kiwi Kid, or sorry, I'm a Cutie Pie many times this game. More recently, he's been successful. So Zuna's going to be like, bring it on.
Yeah, it's really going to come back down to the landed crescendo. If Dignitas are again able to get off the combo onto 3 or more members of Vulcan, then they can still take this and they can easily, you know, take down even a composition as late game oriented as this Vulcan team.
And here they go, Vulcan towards the bottom lane. Now their Baron buff will time out right around the time Dragon comes back up. They've got about 45 seconds left to push this bottom lane. Mancloud gonna take this turret out. Looks like they will backdoor this successfully, or at least start making headway. Dignitas are a little bit slower to defend.
We have Kiwi Kid recalling all the way to base right now. So they are gonna make their last stand at the inhibitor turret and not chase down Vulcan into their own jungle. Vulcan already have the vision advantage with that Oracles and the pre-warding.
The red steel comes across, the Baron buff timing out just in a few seconds, and now 20 seconds until Dragon. They ping their own blue buff. Vulcan making sure they take everything from the map right now, that they are successful in controlling this game, playing to the late game, have a 4,000 gold lead right here, so certainly they've been making the right moves in the last few minutes, and with the buffs being taken up, now the question is, do they take their Dragon again, or are they afraid of Dignitas stopping them there?
Vulcan would definitely love to return to that Dragon area because Dignitas are still scared. They don't have vision of their own jungle because of that Oracles that Bloodwater was walking around the red side. Dignitas, every bush they check, they have to be very scared and they have to prep it with an ability or a ward placement. So you can see Vulcan feel confident enough to even just 2-man this Dragon without Smite.
Beautifully done right here. That is theirs, and there's no chance of stealing, no global ultimates. That at least deal damage to things on their own right, so good pickup. And now they go back towards the mid lane. Zuna did take some of that top lane farm before giving it back over to Psycho Sid. Sid doing a little bit better in his itemization. Looks like he's going towards Randuin's Omen now, trying to take up I'm a Cutie Pie or Crumbs.
Yeah, that was really the effect of the fog of war. That vision denial meant that Dignitas could not even step close to contest that one. And now they really need to bunch back up and try and funnel Vulcan into their base so they can actually land that, you know, game-making crescendo.
And look at Psycho Sid right now. He's waiting in the top lane in the brush, saying, I think Dignitas is looking to make a play on me. We've seen that TFO, the Skara gank, so many times with that top lane being exposed that he is afraid, saying, we can control this late game. I don't want to get caught out. When we see Dignitas, I'll make a move and push out.
Well, look at how many wards are inside Dignitas jungle here for Vulcan. They've just got that thing peppered with wards. So Dignitas, it's going to be so hard for them to make another one of those pick-off plays where they snag somebody. But it looks like if you're going to do it, you want to go up the lane where Vulcan don't have wards, and they might even make a move on Zuna.
They might. These guys are lurking around. Psycho Sid going to split push towards the bottom. And it looks like if you want to assault a lane, you've got to pepper the jungle above it with wards. And that's what they've done right here. So Smithy
going for Rise!
Oh, they go in. Mandatory Cloud takes the stand united early on. Vulcan do not want to risk any team fight. The flash cocoon is flashed away. Dignitas going to survive that one. Zuna rejoining the team. 5v5 about to start in this mid lane.
That's actually a really good trade for Dignitas right there. No giant shield is going to come into play now. They'll gladly trade that TF ulti for the Shen ulti.
There we go. The trades have come across. The cooldown's a little bit better for Dignitas, and here we go. Crumbs still sticking with the team. They know there's no more movement abilities available, so they're all sticking together pretty hard right now. Zuna almost recalls back. No, it's still this mid lane push right here. Of course, there's no turret defending that inhibitor. This is the best place for Vulcan to push, but Baron's up in 5 seconds.
Yeah, and Dignitas, they would have taken the fight in the jungle while Vulcan were all bunched up in the small corridors, but they didn't have any vision. If they can get those wards back down and regain control of at least their side of the map, then the potential is there for that team fight to break out.
Well, Vulcan take a little bit of time to sweep out to their own base and buy some new items. There's a lot of completed stuff coming in here now. The Phantom Dance are done for Zuna, and Dignitas now have ward control. They're lurking around the Baron area, and they are not well spotted. Just now a ward comes across, and they say, okay, Dignitas, you're not going for Baron, we're okay. Vulcan are looking for a little move right here.
And Tristana now has 703 range, so it's going to be very hard to catch Tristana even in the end of that crescendo because she stands so far back. There's the initiate.
They knock everybody back right there. Crumbs diving in. Mancloud taking a bunch of pain, puts the shield down. Crescendo across. Crumbs goes down. Zuna, it's on him to kite backward. He has done this successfully. Skara on the Zodias gets jumped out, explodes right there. 2 for 0 for Vulcan, and now they push on.
Crescendo did not hit Zuna right there, so they had the 4-item Tristana firing away from the back line.
Cocoon lands, and here comes the jump in on a Kiwi. Gets so much damage coming across. Can they find the last few attack? A flash forward for Zuna makes that one happen. 3 for nothing, and now comes the push in towards the base.
Looks like Vulcan are going to make this one all the way towards the Nexus.
Here we go, guys. The inhibitor goes on down, and now what do they look for? The shield off of Nuke Smith. He's going to take up a couple of turret shots. There's the backdoor starting on in Nexus turret number 1. Cutie Pie is there. The taunt comes across. They find one. Psycho Sid survives with shield just barely, and that first turret is going to fall down. Only Patoy is left alive. This could be enough damage for the Vulcan squad right here. 5 seconds left on Crumbs. Turret number 2 still falling down, taking a lot of damage from it though. Can Patoy stop them? I don't know if it's quite going to happen. On the Nexus now, Crumbs is alive. Scar in 8 seconds. The shield comes out from Psycho Sid. The initiation comes in. Crumbs, can you do it? The knockback from Zuna. One more shot, and there it is. Vulcan takes the win.
Ooh, endgame Tristana, endgame Rise. Good job by Vulcan, well deserved. Dignitas though with some very, very crisp plays.
Very good moves from these guys. The gank constantly from Kiwi Kid, just hunting down the split pusher. They got Mandatory Cloud, they got Psycho Sid, they got him over and over again. Unfortunately, the final team fights though, they got outscaled. That Tristana, that Rise, we said it, and it happened.
They deserve their number 2 spot. Vulcan here showed up once again that they should not be underestimated by anybody in the league.
They are in sole control of that number 2 spot. We've had so many ties for second, ties for third, ties for fourth. We've now got a sole first place and a sole second place now in Vulcan. And this is not, I think, a standing that people would have expected coming into the split.
I wouldn't have predicted that one. Actually, we did predictions, and I had, I think, TSM up there at number 2 with Cloud9. Didn't quite turn out that way, and that's why we watched the LCS.
Yeah, find out who's really putting on the good moves. And so far, it's Mandatory Cloud, Psycho Sid, Smithy, Zuna, and Bloodwater. These guys had an amazingly well-deserved win, bringing it to late game, the back-and-forth trades that made it happen. I gotta say, man, the 7-3 and 5 Zuna on Tristana was, I think, a big factor there. He had a couple of hairy moments there, right? I'm a cutie pie, won a couple of trades, but he kept up with it and made it in the end.
I still think for Vulcan, that early game that was enabled by Smithy with his work up top and then his ganks on the middle too, just kind of made it for them, because that got the end game oriented team off to an early game start, which they were able to ride. Even though Dignitas made some nice mid game plays, they finally were able to finish it off.
A lot of props to Smithy for that one. Well played, of course, to Vulcan. Now, we've got to take a short break, but when we return, it's Vulcan's ManCloud and Zuna. They're going to join us to talk about their perfect Week 4. Then we're going to break down the biggest plays of the day and lock down the summer standings. This 4th of July edition of the North American LCS will be right back, so stick around.